Fight Show. I'm your host, Dave Duenas. What's going on, guys? This is the keys to victory for Amir versus Barrera. Okay, Amir, really, honestly, personally, this is a checkers versus chess match. Okay, meaning this is really, it's a big test for Amir. If it's not a really huge test for Barrera, this is because of the fact that Barrera has been in the big stage. He's been in mega fights. He's been tested. You know, that's why he's a legend out of Mexico City. So it's going to be the first thing for Amir. This is something new. The biggest test in history for himself. The biggest test for himself stepping in the ring. Even though he got knocked out by Prescott, it was not considered the biggest test. It was the biggest test for his chin, but not the test of boxing skills. So what's Amir got to do against Marco Antonio Barrera in this fight? Well, one thing is this. Barrera is going to establish his jab. He can't allow that. He's got to take the jab away from him. So what he's got to do is when he's in his stance, when Barrera decides to jab, he's got to get low and jab underneath. Okay? So he's got to push up. He's got to push up right underneath the jab of Barrera and really make him snap back. What it does is pull his shoulder, make his head jerk back. It's going to hurt his back. And what that's going to allow him to do is going to nullify that jab, which is going to make Barrera be more hesitant and make Barrera do something in the ring that he doesn't like to do, which is lose control. When he loses control, we've seen what happened with Marco Antonio Barrera. We saw it with Manny Pacquiao. We saw it with Marquez, who either try to headbutt you, try to hit you low, or hit you when you get you on the ground. Okay, so that's something he's going to have to be aware of and try to push Barrera's buttons. Make him feel uncomfortable in the ring. Use that speed. Really, the other thing he's got to do with Marco Antonio Barrera is not allow Barrera to close the distance. Because Barrera would like to use that signature left hook to the liver punch. Okay, let's get right here. So he's got to make sure he stays in the outside here. You know, really jab to the chop. After he jabs about 1 or 2 times, he's going to want to jab right to the midsection. Okay, the solar plex. Catch him right here. Hits him in the section and what to do. What that also allows him to do is when he's trying to get on his toes and really circle in with his jab to drop that straight right. If you catch him here in the midsection, you're going to catch him on the ribs, catch him in the stomach. It's going to make him crouch down, okay? And it's going to make this hand drop down so that he's going to be able to drop it straight left into the top of his side of his face. So those things he's going to have to look for. Okay, another thing is this. Barrera is really going to want to cut that ring off and try to circle him in and close that distance so he can nullify Amir Khan's speed. Amir can't do that. Amir's got to make sure he keeps him the inside. He's going to have to jab his way in. Really, he's going to have to try to not land solid hard punches in the beginning of the rounds. He's going to have to wait for that. He's going to have to slow him down with some body shots, catching him from the outside, like I said, with the long arms he has, into the midsection of Marco Antonio Barrera so that he can weigh him out to the later rounds. When he weighs him out in the later rounds, then that's when he can start sitting on his punches. He's going to have to take himself back all the way to the Olympics when he fought the Cuban fighters or any other fighter that he has faced. This is the most craftiest, intelligent fighter, and he's going to have to be a little bit of a step above Barrera in this fight. The greatness is going to have to come out of Amir Khan when he steps in the ring to fight Barrera. So he's going to have to fight him at a long range distance. His stamina and his ring generalship is going to be the key to this fight. He doesn't want to look in and try to do exactly what he did with Prescott. We're not saying that Barrera is a big puncher at 135. He has not been tested in punching power. But Barrera can weigh you down where he can numb your feet up and he can weigh you out and he can overwhelm you so he can get a KO. So that's something he's going to have to try to avoid with Barrera. He's going to have to understand that Barrera is the chess match player. So he's going to have to match him when it comes to intelligence. And that's by staying out in the distance and not allowing Barrera to close that distance, because Barrera will take advantage of you closing the distance with him, or when you decide to pull back. Barrera has great reflexes. That's something that has not been able to shy away from him. We saw it with Morales, the third fight. We saw it even with Manny Pacquiao, and we saw it with Marquez. He has great reflexes. He's the kind of guy that when he feels that he's in danger, he's going to throw with you and trade. He's not going to shell up, okay? The only way he will shell up is if he feels that you're faster and stronger than him. And the way by showing him how to do that is by keeping it out on the outside and keeping him at bay with your jab and throwing to the body shot and making him cower up. Okay, so now, Barrera. What does Barrera got to do in this fight? Well, Barrera's got to be Marco Antonio Barrera. Barrera's got to come in knowing that he's the veteran, more intelligent, and he's been in tougher, harder, and he has fought the best oppositions out there than Amir Khan. This is the schoolboy versus the professor. This is actually really, in a lot of ways, Juan Diaz versus Marquez. The only difference is Juan Diaz is a tested schoolboy. He's been tested out in the playgrounds of the School of Hard Knocks, where Amir hasn't. When he was tested in the School of Hard Knocks, knocks, he got knocked out. So now he's got to redeem himself. Now he's stepping in with the big boys, and this is the big bully of the schoolyard. So he's going to walk in, and Barrera's got to remind him, yo, listen, I'm taking your milk money whether you like it or not. I'm coming to your backyard, I'm coming to your school ground, and I'm taking your milk money. And the way to take that milk money away is this. Don't circle your jab around Amir Khan. You don't want to do it this lefty. This lefty's a lot craftier, a lot faster than Naseem Hamed, okay? And really, he's a big 135 pounder, okay? So Barrera's got to not circle. What he's got to do, he's got to jab in. 1, 2, boom, then drop it. He's got to keep it basic. Don't try to look and try to do something else. Don't jab and try to dip down and go to that body. Just want to stay right here on top and just 1, 1, bah, and drop right down to that right, okay? Because you want to push him back. You really want to drive him all the way back. He's push him all the way to those ropes where his speed really is not going to help him out. His legs going to get caught behind that back rope and stuff. And what it's going to do is going to make him look to get out. He's going to panic to get out. And then that's when you can stop dropping those body shots. Boom, 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 come back to the head. Okay, so that's what Barrera's really got to look for. He's got to make this ring into a box. Make it into a telephone pole fight. Okay, and the way to do that is, like I said, push him back with that jab. Push him back. And really, also, Amir, if he decides to get low, then really that's when you're going to want to start nagging him with that straight right. Just drop it. You're going to make it into your leading jab. You know, it's the straight right. Boom, boom, and then come back with a hook, okay? He needs to watch the little traits that, you know, Juan Manuel Lopez, which is a younger fighter, but he uses it in an orthodox stance. It's the same thing. It's really set him off is by doing this. It's throwing your right, dropping the left hook, okay? And that's what something that Amir Khan will not be looking for. Amir Khan's going to be looking for Barrera to really try to box him outside and keep that jab and all that. So if you could take that away, something that they've probably been looking for and studying and really trying to make a roadmap for to try to nullify it, you can take that away and mess up the whole game plan by leading with a straight right instead and coming back with a left hook and coming back with a right uppercut. That's something that could really take him away from that and really push him back. Another thing that Barrera can do is this too, is if it seems that the water's getting a little too boily for him and he's not able to handle it, he can walk himself back to the ropes, sucker him in, sucker Amir Khan in, make him believe that, you know what, you got the best of me, kid, and sucker that kid in and stuff, and then what you do is you put your shoulder on him right when he closes that distance. Allow Amir to close the distance on his own. And that's the perfect way for, I can see, a Barrera to possibly get a KO over Amir Khan. But like I said, we don't know how much of a big puncher he is at 135. This is a test for Amir to step in at 135, but it's not a test, this is a test for Barrera at 135, but not a major test for Barrera and stepping in with the best oppositions, because Barrera has been with the greatest oppositions out there. This is a bigger test for Amir Khan. So if I had to make a pick right now, I'm going to have to go with the professor, not with the schoolboy, because the schoolboy really has not been in the scuffles that has been proven that he can hang with the professors of the ring at the moment, okay? Amir really is going to have to pull something great out of him in order to accomplish something. Now, if he does, which is not the biggest possibility, you know, that's the thing about boxing. There's never a for sure thing in boxing. The impossibles can be done in boxing. That's what makes this great. That's what makes the sport so great, is because the things can be overcome. Now, who do I go with? Well, my pick is Barrera. Like I said, I'm going with the professor on this one. I think right now, even though he may be a little bit out of his prime, he's not that way out of his prime. He's still got his reflexes, he's still got his legs, and he's still got his jab, and he's still got his intelligence. And that's something that's going to be really, really hard to try to outmaneuver, outthink, and really outmake him feel that he's not one of the best pound-for-pound fighters up to date. So, I'm going with Barrera. Amir Khan, great fighter, good fighter, but maybe a little bit too rushed in this bout. That's my decision. I'm your host, Dave doing this. This was another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show. If you haven't tuned into the radio show, you need to do it this week, this Sunday. We're having Big Daddy Riddick Bowe. The following week, on next Sunday, we're having trainer Buddy McGirt on there with us. Okay, so we're filling up the slots, guys, to have some great guests on Leave It in the Ring. It's right here, the little ring. Click on it, you know, register to it, and also an update on the website. We're changing it. It's going to be completely new format. The format that you guys have been asking for, we're done with it. It should be changed over today, late today, or tomorrow morning, okay? And you guys need to join up on that too. I'm your host, Dave doing this.